Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome to the first video of the stitching challenge that is being put on by Rachel and Sarah of Roxy Creations. And everybody seems to be kind of playing along. I really wanted to try it and I have been really having fun with it. So this is my cover page. Everyone has been putting Journal of Stitchery on theirs, but I was kind of lazy, so I just put Stitch Book because it was quicker and it kind of got me started. So for the lettering, I used a chain stitch, and then I used a whip stitch and a back stitch, and here I used a back stitch and a French knot. This one is a split stitch. This is a straight stitch, but I kind of did it tiny like the little seed stitches. And then I've got cross stitch here with a back stitch here. And then this one also is a whip stitch, and then a satin stitch and turkey work and a back stitch. And then I did this weaving little flower here with the pistol stitches sticking out of that, and little double seed. I love the little double seed stitches. I think those are so cute, and then just kind of brought those out here a little bit. I did 3 yo-yo flowers. I had this yo-yo flower, so I made a couple more to go on there. And then I did the turkey work, but just with a few loops, and then I just kind of pressed them down so that it just kind of looks like a flower, and put a French knot with a piece of yarn, so the French knot wound up being really big. This one again is the turkey work, and again I just pressed it down so it's just got like 5 petals on there. And then this one just has a little piece of fiber in it. I had these fibers here. I got these big fluffy Christmas balls, and if you pulled on one of the strings, they just came right out because they were all attached right in the center, like with a metal clip. And so you could just pull these little strands out, and they're just that long. But they're so pretty and they're just so soft looking. So this is just a piece of one of those. I just folded it in half and sewed it through, and then I just trimmed it off at the top, and it just has this little fluffy look to it. And then this one, I couched it down with the bullion stitch like Rachel showed us how to do. At first I couldn't get that bullion stitch, but now I've got it. I really like it. A little bit of cross stitches right there. I did a blanket stitch. This is a piece of upholstery fabric, and when I cut the sleeve out, it really kind of wanted to fray, but the blanket stitch really kind of holds that down well, so that's really kind of cool. Then this is just a piece of trim. It's kind of like eyelash trim and ball trim wrapped together, and so I just couched it down across the top excuse me, with a different color. I used some like turquoise embroidery floss, and then I was going to just let it dangle on the side, but it was driving me crazy, so I couched it down in a couple places down here just to hold it so it wasn't flipping all over. I put a piece of crochet lace on here and weaved a piece of ribbon through some holes at the bottom. And then this is a little square of white fabric that I had stamped a dragonfly on, so I put him on there with a couple of cross stitches and then a bunch of little seed stitches to hold that down. And then I have some French knots here. Haven't got the colonial knot down yet. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But and then I've got a back stitch here along with the lazy daisy for the leaves and for the flowers. I was doing some weaving here, and I ran out of my orange thread, so then I thought, well, I'm just going to weave some ribbon through there to see what that looks like. So I just weaved a little ribbon through there and just put a little knot in it to hold it down, and a little bit of the fly stitch over here. And I think that's all of it. So, but you know, it was just really fun to kind of, there were more than one time where I thought, okay, I'm done. And then it's like, oh no, I'll put like some French knots here, and I'll do this and that. And, you know, so just a little here and a little there. And I really like the way that it looks now. So, but this is a great project just to sit in the evenings and just play around with what you have. Have a little box full of some threads and things like that. And, you know, it's just a great idea. I'm really liking this, and this is a 6 months challenge, and I'll try and remember to link it below, but they're going to do 1 page each month for 6 months. So it's not like it's going to, you know, you'll have a whole month to do a page. So that is really awesome because you can just kind of, you know, do it. I'm going to show you my pages maybe as I'm going through them. I'm probably not going to stitch on the videos because number one, I'm not going to be a great teacher at the stitching part because I'm not good at it yet. And I really found out that I liked stitching. I thought I didn't like stitching, but you know, over the years I've been watching Sonia, and she's had different little, we did twinchies once, which are just little 2x2 pieces of fabric that we did different types of stitches on, and you know, it actually made like a little picture, and those were just really fun. And she really taught me that I do like stitching. I just haven't done it much. So I've learned some of these stitches I already knew from learning them from Sonia, and then some of them are new to me this time. So the more that we watch each other, I think the more that we'll learn or think, oh, I like the way that they kind of changed that up or the way they did that. And I think it's going to be really fun. So this is my cover. And, well, and inside, I wrote down my stitches. And I think I'm just going to laminate this and put it inside the front cover. Because I don't think I'm going to stitch all of these out, partly because I'm lazy. That's why that only says stitch book, because I was just kind of lazy. But I do want to have the stitches in here, and I am going to number these with a permanent marker and just number them like 1, 2, 3, because when I get down here to the bottom, they get a little bit mixed up in the where they're placed on the fabric versus the way that they're written down here. So, but yeah, I just did everything on one page. So because I just had to get to it a little here and there, and but I wanted to make sure that I had them all down. So then we've got the straight stitch, and we've got my whip stitch. Let's try and hold it up here. So we've got straight stitch and then whip stitch, and then this is the back stitch, and then the stem stitch. Now the stem stitch I have to practice on because I don't even remember how I did that. And what I'm going to do also is when I attach this to the book, I'm going to attach it just across the top so that I can flip it up. Because sometimes I had to kind of look at the back of here to see, where did I start this? Like, how did I start this? You know, the stitches that I didn't know how to do already, sometimes I would forget, like, how do I start getting this, you know, to go? But, so... And then we've got the split stitch and the cross stitch and the elongated cross stitch. And we've got our seed stitches with the little double seed stitches, which I love. Bigger seed stitches. This is the colonial knot, which I have to figure that one out. I haven't really figured that out yet. Then the French knot and the pistol stitch. I really like those. The lazy daisy, and I put a little French knot in the middle of each of those. And then, you know, did the stitching there for the vine of the daisy. And then this is a chain stitch and a herringbone, and this is a satin stitch. But like on the herringbone, you can see in the beginning, these are really not very good. But by the time that I got to the end, they got a lot better. So, you know, it really takes practice and figuring it out, and then all of a sudden you just get the hang of it. So then this is the fly stitch, and then this is like single fly stitch. The bullion stitch, I had a hard time getting those too, but then once I got them, I love them. This is couching, where you just go over to hold something down. My weaving, and the blanket stitch, which is like bigger blanket stitch, and then closer together, and then some little teeny tiny ones here. And then my turkey work is at the top, because I didn't have any more room at the bottom, which it took me a little bit of time. Like this one I really don't like very well, and I could probably trim it up better, but I'm just going to leave it this way because it just kind of reminds me that they kind of do look like that when you start. And then once you really start working on them, you know, and trimming them down, they really do look cute. So, yeah, I really actually figured out that I like those, and I like the way that you can just kind of not cut them, excuse me, not cut them and just leave them there and then press them down, and they kind of look like a flower. So, and then I already put my book together. What I did was I had this heavy fabric, It's kind of like jean on one side and it's really fuzzy on the other. I like the fuzzy side because when I set my things on there, it kind of grabs a hold of them, you know. But, and I just stitched it with the 3-hole stitch, pamphlet stitch, and it's 4 pieces. And I just kind of left that in the middle. But so I have room for my cover page. And then I'm going to put my stitches on this side, this one, and then my sample on this side, like that. And then I have 1, I'm not going to do anything right there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for my 6 pages. And then I can always go back later and do pages and do them on the opposite side. But to start with, I'm going to do my 6 pages all on the right side. This side I'm going to leave. And then, or maybe I might, you know, like if I get this whole page done, I might do another page to kind of match it for them to go together. But what I'm planning on is just doing one side and leaving these white. So as I flip them, like, this is very noticeable. You know, it's not quite as busy. And I don't know that I could get that much. Maybe I can get that much done in a month. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. So I hope if you're playing along with this that you're going to have a good time with it. It's Wednesday today, and I am so excited waiting for their videos to come out to see what we're going to do the first month. But I really have had fun with this. So if you haven't decided to do it and you think you're not a stitcher, I'm not either, but I think that this is really going to be fun. And if you're looking for an evening craft, you don't need a whole ton of supplies to do this craft. And, you know, just a box full of stuff that you can dig through and go, oh, I think I'll have some of that and some of that. I think it's going to be a really great fun craft, and I think it's going to be a good evening craft. And I don't know if I've said this or not because I've had to do this a few times because I just did. But so if I haven't said this, that I don't think I'm going to actually do any stitching on my videos, but I will come back and show you like my progress and show you what I've been doing and my different thoughts of, you know, what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So, but again, maybe I'll do a little stitching, but that's just doubtful because I'm not real good at it yet. So I'm still learning. And so it's not, you know, I would definitely not be the best person for you to watch and learn from because I don't do things necessarily the right way. But I'm really loving this. So I hope that if you're playing along, you're having a good time too. Thank you, Rachel and Sarah, for doing this challenge because I think it's going to be fun. Thanks again. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.